family business, he reluctantly agreed. Nothing unusual in that, except perhaps when the family business is boxing. And the father is a former world champion and a member of the World Boxing Hall of Fame. One was known as the Cyclone, while the other is now known as the Hurricane. Would you welcome, please, Barry McGuigan and his son Shane, ladies and gentlemen. That's good. You happy with that?
Pretty special, that, yeah.
It's good to see you both. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
1 minute's Robbie Williams, next thing is Barry McGuigan.
Yeah, there you go. He's a hard act to follow, isn't he?
No, yeah.
He's pretty special.
He's, you know the expression, he's cut out of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you see the likeness, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah.
Without the mullet, you know.
He's without the mullet.
Yeah, very much so.
It's not fashion.
Was it always written in the stars, do you think, Barry, that Shane would be interested in boxing?
No, I don't think so, Ryan. I mean, I never encouraged him to box. Never. I mean, I often went the other way. I've got 3 boys and 1 girl, and I didn't want any of them to box because it's such a pressurised job, and it's so difficult if your dad's done something and been successful to be able to follow him. It was always going to be a difficult job, so I never really wanted him to go down. Apart from the fact that it's a very tough business, it's a fabulous business, and great business, and very tough and very, you know, very damaging too, so let's not forget that. So I just, you know, as a dad, I didn't really want him to do it, never. And growing up, Shane, were you aware of your dad's popularity, as his status as a kind of sporting legend?
Definitely. I mean, I was the youngest of 4. I've got two older brothers and an older sister, and I was the only one kind of silly enough to take up the sport, you know. But no, Dad was always a massive star. I mean, like he, for instance, 25 years on from his world title, from when he won the world title, and he's still on TV shows after Take That and stuff, you know. It's I've been brought up around boxing my whole life, so everything was. We always went to the shows. We went. Dad was working for Sky Sports, and we would go there every single Friday or Saturday, and we'd be doing the shows, and our whole life was boxing.
And were you, even you know, at school, would you have did you get any grief for being Barry the boxer's son? Was that a sort of?
Yeah, everybody wanted to have like a little dig and see if I was as tough as my name says, or you know, I don't exactly look tough, do I? But no, they all try to have a little dig at me, and I think that's where it kind of started. My whole,
really?
Yeah, that was what happened.
He got a bit of hassle at school, and
for
he kept, just because, well, he was in a school called Millfield, and it's a big school and mixed, you know, girls and boys, and he was in a boys' house, obviously, and there were a lot of sort of just bullying goes on in big schools, and that's happened, and whether it's intimidation or mental bullying or physical bullying or both. But I think he came home one day and said, "Look, I've had enough of these guys sort of asking me out, so just I want
pushing you around."
Pushing me around.
I mean, there's a lot of like hierarchy stuff. So you know, make me tea. It was a brilliant school. You know, don't get me wrong. I made some great friends there. But
make me tea.
Yeah,
make me tea.
The old respect your elders, make me tea, get me some toast, and everybody else would do it, and I said, no, no, straight away. And within the first week, I was in a fight, and that was the first fight of my life. And to be honest, I gave a bit, but I took a lot. So, so I went back to Dad and said, you know, I want to start fighting. And I was playing golf at the time, playing a bit of football, but I really I like single sports because I like to rely on myself.
Yeah, self-contained unit.
Yeah, exactly. So you can train hard. I was always got frustrated when we played football and nobody would, you know, give the same effort that I would give. And so I said, Dad, you know, I want to take up boxing. So. And
when he comes home, when Shane comes home to you and says that, do you balk at the idea?
Well, I taught him how to punch properly, and he sorted out his problems, and the guy that was giving him trouble ended up with dental problems, and then that was that.
It was a funny story actually. It was my brother, and he's always a ladies' man. He's always constantly with the ladies, and like, I'm not the same. I'm kind of stay with a partner, but. Anyway, he was flirting around with all these girls, and everybody started getting jealous of him. So after I'd been starting to learn how to box for about a couple of months, Jake says, he rings me up on the mobile. He says, "Oh, 8 people are ganging up on me. Can you come in and help me out?" So I ran around, and they all kind of said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was a little bit chubbier then, and I said, "Oh, okay." Just boom, hit him with the right hand. He was down. And so.
And then he came back to me and he says,
really,
right, I want to do it for real. So
got a bit of a success.
We took it up then.
Yeah, that's great. So you kind of defeated the bully.
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah, I do too. You know,
it's
not. I'm not necessarily saying bullying goes on everywhere.
No,
it happens. We have to deal with it.
But you have to stand up to the bad guys.
You have to stand up sometimes and be counted. I mean, I always encourage kids not to get involved in fights.
Of course.
But invariably it happens sometimes where you just backed into a corner and you have to defend yourself, and that's what happened. And then he said, "Dad, I want to have a go at this for real."
For real. And you've expressed your reluctance to get your own kids involved because of what you've seen and the damage it can do. I mean, it's
a tough business, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I encourage any kid to box and have a look at it and see what it's like and enjoy it and test it out. And I'm working in academies, which I'll probably come to you later. Sure, but you know, it's very important that the kids have a try at it. And a lot of working class kids want to box, and there's some fantastic traditions in the country. And I always encourage them to take part. So he wanted to do it, and I said, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So we embraced it completely. I became his coach, and you know, he won a national title in England. He won an under-21 title in Ireland. He won an Ulster senior title.
You got robbed in the second one. I got robbed in the second one.
Can you remember your first fight?
Yeah, my first fight. Yeah.
Was it a big? Did you go all the way? Or?
It was in a working man's club, and smoking was legal in the time, so full of smoke. I was there. I was so nervous. You know, I was shaking, and I came out. A massive crowd. It was my home kind of show for Aylsham Amateur Boxing Club, and I came out. I was boxing a guy who had 15 fights experience with me. It was my first fight. I can't even remember it. I was so nervous. I hit him with the right hand, and he went out. All I remember is looking down and seeing him. His eyes had kind of turned around in his head. It was a bit
12
really
seconds
shocking.
at last.
12 seconds.
Yeah, 12 seconds.
So
no messing there.
No messing about. So he caught him with a great shot, and of course, then it all started, and then we started getting ready for competition. Found it very difficult to get tournament fights, so we had to go for competition. But he was good, and he worked really, really hard. That was the thing. You know,
what's it like having your dad in your corner, literally? I mean, is that helpful, or is it a hindrance?
He's been thrown out a few times. He's a bit passionate, you know.
Passionate. What does that mean?
I shout too much, and cornermen are not supposed to shout.
I had another coach called Lee Pullen, who now works with the Great Britain Amateur Boxing Club and Amateur Boxing team up in Sheffield, and he was the calmest kind of guy in the world. And I loved being around him on the day of a fight because it was very relaxing. And he was more nervous than me every single time.
I, on the other hand, was a nervous wreck and would shout. And I suppose that was a way of getting rid of my nervousness. But not shout, but just giving him advice and coaching him. And you're not supposed to coach, so I got chucked out of the corner so many times. At the National Stadium in the Irish Under-21s, of the 4 fights he had, I think on 3 occasions I was ejected from the corner.
That time.
I think the referees kind of had like a little joke with themselves who could throw him out the quickest.
Get control. You're very English. I hope that you don't mind me saying that. It's just your accent. It's Blairite almost. But it's got it's very English voice. But and that's not a criticism. It's just that because we're so used to you, Barry, and then he's cut out of you, as I say. But yet he sounds so obviously
you're posh English accent.
You've been schooled in England.
He went to good schools, and you know, I have no geniuses, so I give them the best chance I could by sending them to good schools. I think he'll openly admit that. So.
And did you? So who did you want to box for then? Where were your loyalties?
Oh, he's got an Irish passport. He's very much an Irish.
I love the way you're answering that.
No,
100%.
Come on.
No, genuinely, 100%. I love my roots, and you know, England asked me to box them a few times, but I turned it down, and Ireland asked me to box for them once, and I got the cold. And actually, England asked me to box the same day, and then Ireland gave me a ring later on and asked me to box. So it was England versus Ireland. So against each other, I would have been boxed myself.
Bang!
I think I would have won.
Yeah, you probably would have come out of it right. Now, you've moved into kind of nutrition and training and so forth. And I have never heard of the caveman diet. I don't know what it means. It sounds peculiar, but it's something that you're advocating. Did you devise it, in fact?
No, there's numerous different caveman diets, Paleolithic man diet, and then then there's the anabolic diet. But I've read around. I mean, I read constantly about Passion's nutrition and kind of strength training, and I've been reading a lot from a guy called Charles Poliquin, and he's kind of devised his caveman diet. I've played around with it myself and seen where I put weight on and where I don't, and all this kind of stuff. And so I devised my own kind of little caveman diet.
And is Carl Frampton on that diet?
Yeah, I put Carl Frampton on it.
And who is Carl Frampton?
Carl Frampton is my new protege. He's a young kid from Tigers Bay in Belfast. He is the new sensation of Irish boxing.
Is he any good?
He is exceptional, and he's 23 years old. He's just won the Celtic title this week, back last Friday. He's an exceptional talent, and Shane has got him into terrific shape with the diet and the strength and conditioning training.
2% body fat, he's
2% body fat.
Would you like to meet Carl Frampton? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carl Frampton. Woo-woo. Big week for you. Big win last week, last weekend, as Barry was saying. Any other news?
Well, my fiancée Christine, she just had a little girl last night.
Last night? Congratulations.
Her name is Carla Frampton, and she's gorgeous.
What do you call her?
Carla.
Carla. Okay,
yeah.
Well that makes sense. That is girl. Okay, very good. You've got Barry in your corner. It's that must mean an awful lot to you as a young boxer coming out in the world.
Definitely. You know, Barry's a legend of Irish boxing, and to have him singing my praises all the time, it's good for me. But I know, I believe in myself too, and I'm very confident. But Barry's looking after me, and he's got a reputation, and I think he truly believes that I can go to the top. And
well, do we want to see just a bit you in action so that we can kind of get a feeling for how wonderful you are, what you do? Let's have a look at this now.
That was a beauty. That was a beauty. Followed by another on the right for Frampton. And he's followed up with a whole series of rights. And he's got Reid well against the corner here. Tremendous start in the opening round from Carl Frampton, and he's going for it already. We've barely had 2 minutes of boxing in this Celtic title fight, but he's got Reid in big trouble here. And he's really showing us why. That was another good left, followed up by a series of rights. And he's got Reid in trouble here. Blow after blow after blow. And the former footballer, Steve Gray, calls an end to it. 2 rounds is all it took Carl Frampton this time. A superstar in the making. And there is a very, very happy Barry McGuigan, who would have been proud of a job like that.
Yeah.
It's the business.
Now I see why you're driving that car.
He's exceptional, and honestly, I mean, not to denigrate from the Andy Lees or the Paul McCluskeys or any other kid in the country that's doing well, or young Willie Casey for that matter, whom we like, but he's in the same weight division. I think this kid is like a sensational talent. He's going to be world champion. I'm convinced of it.
Just not to take away from the boxing thing for a second, but when you were boxing, Barry, and at the height of your powers, you were a Catholic boy, with a Protestant girlfriend, and much was made of it, and it was a big deal. And I'm sure, Shane, you've been made aware of this as you were growing up, thankfully, in better times. And now, we have Carl, who's your Protestant lad, going out with a Catholic girl, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Isn't it extraordinary what time can do?
It's terrific. I mean,
peace process and people.
It's so important, and he's the epitome and the essence of a shared future.
Of course.
And they're talking about a shared future. Protestant kid from Tigers Bay, proud of his roots.
Yeah.
Boxed in the 32 county team. Down in Dublin, was in the high performance team for 2 years. He